Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to the workshop today. So I'm just going to go straight in and start with the image that I'm going to be making a collage of. So I believe this might have been included in the pack already. This is a photo that I took on a film camera when I was visiting family in Mauritius last year. I was fortunate enough to go there just before the first lockdown. So it feels extra special to have this photo. So whatever image that you're going to be working with, I just want to spend some time looking at it so we can get an understanding of how we're going to start making the collage. So when I use photos in my work, I try to pick out the elements that I want to bring out. So for example, when I'm looking at this particular photo, I'm really drawn to this green vegetation here, the sugarcane in the middle. It's almost like a band of green here. And then we've got these lovely palm trees, and then this charming white house in the background, and then this blue sky. So I think those are the elements that I want to highlight when making the workshop. So I think to start with, have a look at the colored card that you have, and then pick a base for the image. So I'm going to use this sort of deep blue one, almost purple-like, as the background for mine. And then we're going to use other colors from the card to start making the other elements to go on top. I've also got a ruler to help me cut straight lines. Hopefully your ruler is more clean than mine. But this, if you haven't got scissors, this is another way to help tear straight edges. So what I'm going to start by doing is picking out a green and try and create a shape to pick out this lush vegetation here. So I'm going straight in with my hands rather than drawing on the cards, because I think what I want to do is really let go of any familiar tools that we might be used to working with when making images. And I think there's a tendency when either drawing or painting to try and replicate exactly what's in front of you. So by letting go of those tools, I'm hoping that we might be able to actually create some new and interesting shapes. And I think also with tearing the card as well, you get more interesting textures. So I'm able to pick out more leaf-like shapes here.
How important is it, Cara, in terms of the color card you have representing the color of the image that you might be thinking of?
Sure, I actually, not that it's not important, but I actually try to not go for realistic colors, because the point of using the colored card is that you are trying to challenge your own assumptions, but also learn how to use color that you might be able to use elsewhere. So for example, as a painter, I use a lot of bright colors in my work, and I would say none of them are realistic, but I'm more interested in the way color can communicate a certain mood, or it can even make us think of a certain place. So that's what I'm more interested in, is sort of color as this deeply sort of personal language almost. So I'm quite happy with that. And also, I think, let's see, yeah, I might add another layer with this brighter green. So yeah, I'm still sticking to the greens, but obviously they're not the same greens. But really, I'm trying to pick out the kind of mood or emotion that I get when I look at this particular image. So I'm hoping that whatever image that you're working with today, you're able to identify a certain emotional feeling that you want your final image to communicate.
Do you think it's also a case of when we think about places that we've been, our memories of those places as actually the colours and the way that buildings are against the landscape, it can be so different to how they are in reality, and they're shaped by time and our own experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I take these photos, for example, I use them as I would say I make paintings from them, but I don't ever look at them directly and then make a painting from them. I will do either a drawing or I'll make a collage of them, because I'm trying to capture what a place feels like as opposed to what it looks like. So this is like one of the exercises that I do to sort of help work out what kind of mood I want my painting to look like. Right, so I think that might be looking good. So I also want to say that before sticking anything down, I like to just keep the pieces loose, because the great thing about collage is that you can sort of change shapes and you can work out the final image right at the end. So there's no need to decide anything now. So I think for the trees, I'm actually going to go for something a bit different. I'm going to use this yellow card. I'm going to try and tear out some palm tree shapes, because I think they really stand out in this image. And also the house, I want it sort of peeking out behind what's happening in the foreground here. Let's see what these palm trees will end up looking like.
So we've just had someone, Cara, who said they're not using a landscape.
Okay.
I guess you can use this technique for whatever drawing, really, can't you?
Definitely, yeah. It can be, I mean, I also don't just paint landscapes, I also paint interior spaces. So it could really work with any image that you have.
We'll be providing an upload link for any pictures of any work made in the workshop today at the end of the session. So it'd be great to see everyone's work and yeah, see what you have made, whether it's landscape or anything else.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what people come up with. And the colours that people choose as well.
Just a note to anyone who's raising their hand, we're not using that function throughout the session. So if you have a question, just pop it in the Q&A and we'll put them to Cara. And I mean, Cara, if people don't have coloured card, is there sort of a way that you would recommend to be able to create these kinds of layered images?
Yeah, I mean, you could actually use even coloured paper. I mean, I chose card because it's easier to tear shapes, but paper would work just as fine. Or if you had acrylic paints and you wanted to paint just sheets of paper and then cut them out afterwards, I think acrylic paint also has a really good flat quality to it, which makes it look like card almost and gives a solid block of colour. Quite like how these trees are turning up.
Like you said, it's interesting how, yeah, there's kind of a little less control with ripping, isn't there? But you make some nice shapes.
Yeah, I think if you have scissors, I guess it would be faster, but I don't know, there's an argument for slowing down and taking the time to do something like this. And also the sound of ripping paper is quite satisfying as well.
Mm.
And we said briefly, Cara, in the intro that you are a painter. So where does collage fit into your own practice?
So I use collage as an exercise, almost like a sketchbook exercise. So when I think about the images that I want to paint, I will do something like this as a way to almost, I guess, warm up before painting. I never really start painting straight away. I will do lots of drawings, I will make collages, I will sometimes draw on this coloured card as well. just to think about what exactly how I want the painting to look like, and then afterwards I will paint it. So I have yet actually to paint this image here, but it's one that I'm thinking about painting. So hoping that after today I might have a better idea of how I want to paint it.
Where was that taken?
So this is in Mauritius. This is in a town called Rivière-du-Rempart, which is in the northeast, where my dad's family is from. So I was visiting family there, and I hadn't been there for over 10 years. So it was a really good trip to catch up with everyone. But yes, I took my camera with me because I knew that I wanted to, I didn't know, you know, with big trips like that, you don't ever know when you'll be able to go back. So I wanted to really try and take some proper photographs. I think by using the film camera as well, I really wanted to really look at what I was seeing. There's something about using a film camera, I think, that slows you down in a way as opposed to snapping away on your phone. And I wanted to try and really think about what I was seeing when I was there. Okay, I think 4 trees might be good for now. I might add more later. And I think let's try and tackle this house. So I'm going to use this lighter pink card here. See, it's got striking pink roof, so let's see if I can tear that in the right way.
So just to say, Cara, we've got people joining from the USA, Connecticut, Michigan,
Oh, wow.
London, Warwickshire, Red Hill.
Hi to everyone from those places. That's really amazing. I used to live in America when I was studying, so that's exciting.
Oh, great. And we've also got units joining us from Devon and from Lewisham in London. So big warm welcome to all of the units that are joining us as well, if it's your first session or if you've come here regularly.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to hear what images you're working with as well, whether you're using the image pack from Cara or you've chosen your own places that you'd like to be or remember visiting.
Yeah, I think one of the notes that I included was also places that we want to visit. You know, so I'm working with an image of a place that I've been and is personal to me, but I also do work with images of places that I want to go to. A lot of my paintings are about thinking about the reasons why we want to visit certain places and what is it that draws us to them.
And obviously right now with travel so restricted and, you know, for a lot of us not being able to maybe go where we want to go, those places might be close to home. They might be kind of familiar. They don't have to be kind of the other side of the world, do they? We're all in this situation where we want to go could be somewhere that's also very familiar to us.
Exactly, yeah, it feels even more poignant saying it now, thinking about travel in that way. I think for me, knowing that, you know, travel might not be possible for a while, I think it's almost a bit more liberating, I guess, and thinking about how I would travel through my imagination as opposed to physically being able to go somewhere. Thinking about how I want this house to look like. Okay, keep these pieces there, and I might return to that bit later. Now I think I'm going to have a look at this sugarcane over here. Let's see. Maybe this green will. So I try to just hold the colors up to the card that we already have to see what will look good. Great thing about colored card is that you already have all these predetermined colors and you don't need to worry about mixing the right one.
Mm-hmm. Do you tend to always start with one color as your background? So it looks like there you've got, is that an A4 sheet you've got there, and then you're putting things on, or can people kind of create from scratch as well? So not kind of working with one base color.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I would encourage people to be as adventurous as possible. So if they are able to combine different colors or use two pieces of card as their base, you know, even joining two pieces of card like that and having a full almost A3 image, I think that could be really fun. But I usually, yeah, I tend to just pick a base first, just so it's something to start with, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, we have to stick to that as well. I want the collage as well to, you know, to have this childlike quality to it, because I think a lot of this exercise has to do with memory and thinking about those places that we visited. And for me, because I hadn't been to see my family there for a long time, it's a good way to think about how my memories connect with the ones from childhood.
It would be great for the people joining us if you just pop in the Q&A, maybe the sorts of landscapes that you're making, if you're following along and making live, or if you're thinking about making a collage later. It would be great to have a sense of all the different places that we're thinking of traveling to or dreaming of going to, or it'd be great to know.
I'm gonna have some of this grey card to add to the blades of long grass, so there's a bit more texture between the colours.
So Claire's collaging the mountains in New Zealand where she went in 2019. It's going to be great to see some mountains in the collage technique. Someone joining from St Ives, lovely sunny St Ives. And someone joining from London who's landscaping the view from their parents' house in Bermuda.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of varied landscapes to look at after this.
Yeah.
We've had a great comment saying that this is a great exercise for people of all ages, because it's about kind of, it's good about getting creative without getting too involved, without investing in a lot of supplies. And I guess you can use what you have. You don't have to work with kind of brand new card. If you have sort of scraps of pieces around, you can work with those as well.
Oh, definitely, yes. And even if, I mean, I've stuck to card, but yeah, I think that's a really good point to raise, is that if you had, you know, even magazines or newspapers, those would work just as well. And, you know, they already come with lots of colors available to use. Yeah, I wanted to keep this really simple because I think it could, you know, can be complicating something that doesn't need to be complicated. So this piece I'm doing, I'm just trying to think of a shape maybe to bring out more of the yellow here, adding a bit more green because there's a lot of green happening in here.
We've got more landscapes coming through. So collage is being made somewhere in Latin America, Sacramento, California, all sorts of different, everything from, you know, kind of more tropical to sort of desert.
Oh, fantastic. Right, I'm actually going to start thinking about how I'm going to lay this out. So I'm going to put some of these pieces to the side. Maybe start thinking about sticking some down. So I might actually lay these at an angle because I think it looks more interesting. So I'm using just normal glue stick, but you could use tape or could use PVA glue, whatever you have to hand.
Mm-hmm. So I'll just read out just a few more of the comments because they're so beautiful, what people are writing in. So we have hi from Avocet Ward, a mental health ward in Ipswich. Hi, everyone. We have a mix today. Some people are working from their imagination, some are copying, and some are picking a place they love. And we're excited to see everyone's artwork. So that's lovely. Thanks so much, Martin, everyone there.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm really excited to see the ones from imagination as well. I think that's really exciting.
Hi also to Sophie, who's joining us from rural Hampshire, and the whole family are homeschooling and doing this as today's creative session. So it's all very quiet apparently in their kitchen while everyone's making their spaces. So that's lovely.
And we've got people using coloured paper rather than card. Someone using a gardening magazine. I think it'd be great.
Oh. Yeah, that's perfect for something like a landscape, I think.
When someone come up with a sort of an idea, they've seen a similar demonstration where someone used layers of tracing paper.
I see.
Really nice idea to get some more layers.
I like making it so things don't line up exactly as well. I just think the image looks a bit more interesting. It really feels like you're sort of taking the image and making it your own that way by not sticking to exactly how it looks like.
So a great question for you here, Cara, that's coming from Northern Ireland, actually. So when you're creating a collage work, are you thinking of what your painting will be like, or are you just focused on the work in hand?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say I'm just focusing on the work in hand because whilst I do use these as an exercise, I do think they're works in their own right. So I would treat this with the same kind of attention and care that I would with a painting. And I think that way, you know, it does help inform my painting somehow. Okay, let's see, I'm going to tuck the house behind green. Yeah. Okay.
I guess that sort of slightly answers the question, another question asking about whether you'd use the collage as a reference to one of the paintings rather than the original photo. So I guess
yeah. I think absolutely. I mean, once I've looked at the photo, I actually don't really look at it again until maybe after I finish the painting. But even then, I think the collage is what I would refer back to. And in a lot of my paintings, there are collage-like shapes. So, you know, they won't be full replications of palm trees, but they might look more actually close to these shapes that I have here. I really like how that pink looks against the blue. They work really well together. I have some of these windows that I made as well. Maybe one window might be enough. Let's see. I'll just stick with one. It looks a bit more interesting.
It's great also to watch you play with the pieces that you've torn before you stick them down. So do you recommend sort of playing around with all your pieces before you decide where they're all going to go?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the advantages of collage, is that you don't have to commit to anything until the very end. At least, you know, with painting, sometimes I can go too far and it's too late to erase something or remove it. So with collage, you get to make all those decisions beforehand. I quite like how the card is now starting to look more wave-like. Okay, this might be the fun part with the palm trees.
We've had a question come in, which is, was the oversized house a deliberate decision?
Yes, it was. I think because I felt like there was a lot happening elsewhere and I didn't want the house to get lost. Although saying that, I might end up covering it with one of the trees as it is in the image. Oh, big tree here, yeah.
I guess you were talking a little bit about how you can use color to sort of evoke emotion, but that can come into the sort of composition as well, can't it? Kind of what you want to focus on, or it's your own, each individual person making it's your own work of art. So you can sort of think about what kind of stood in your memory more, if it's from a memory, or what has more meaning to you.
Yeah, definitely. I think even with color, you can communicate not just what things felt like, but also maybe the time of day, the temperature of the place, maybe even what a place smelt like. I think color has the power to do all of those things. Right. Going to crackle some of these blades of grass.
It's amazing how fine you can actually get with the card. You can get those areas of torn paper. Sometimes I always think of collage as being almost kind of these big chunky pieces, but it's actually, you can get some very delicate fine details as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think maybe the thinner pieces of card, you could get some nice fine strips or a bit more detail, and then the thicker, chunkier card is really good for bigger textures such as this.
Mm-hmm.
But even that in itself, you know, choosing whether it's card or paper, all those decisions are really important when you're making your artwork, because you're thinking about, if I pick a really thick piece of card for this green section here, for example, that's quite heavy. So that will almost, you know, replicate the same feeling there. I hope everyone else is getting glue on their fingers, because I'm able now to pick up pieces of card without having to actually hold them.
Talking about glue on fingers, we've had a question about, I don't know about what this type of glue is, but about someone who's got loads of colored, they're using colored tissue paper and it's kind of bled with the glue into their hands and they don't know how to get it. I think maybe a good kind of scrubbing brush, maybe with soap, should get it off for you.
Warm soapy water. That sounds really fun though. That sounds like what my hands look like when I'm painting. So
embrace it.
Yeah.
Just a note to everyone that we're into the sort of the last 10 minutes of the workshop part. So if you have any questions for Cara about the collage or about her work, or you'd like to share with us what you're making, then feel free to pop them in the Q&A and we'll get through as many of them as we can.
We've got a PQ joining us from Hull. Hello to Miranda House and everyone there.
Okay, I think we're almost there. I'm going to, we'll look at the image again. I'm going to pick out some leaf shapes to put on here just to add a bit more colour, because why not?
Anita said she's made a mistake of sticking down too early.
It happens to everyone. I guess depending on what kind of glue she has, she could still, so Pritt stick is quite forgiving, but if it's something like PVA, it might be already done.
Another attendee from Belfast. So hello to Pat. Glad you're enjoying it. Just having a good time. It was Pritt stick and tissue paper, which was stuck down too fast. So maybe tissue paper is a bit of a challenge to it.
I guess the wonderful thing about tissue paper though is that you can layer it, so you can actually create different colors, almost like mixing paints, I guess, by layering different tissue papers on top of one another. So if that's something that they can try.
Just some other comments here. Great way to use up Christmas cards. Totally agree. Yes. And Jo says she's not completely stuck everything down, and that has quite an interesting look to it as well.
Brilliant.
Those leaves seem to have completely changed it, Cara. From what I can see, it's amazing how just adding one thing can make it look so different.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can just add a new shape or something a bit more abstract and just give it, I don't know, gives it a bit more movement, or yeah, changes the way the other pieces look.
And just a reminder to everyone, Cara put together a pack of images that this image is from, and those are all on our website. So if you're not sort of making along with us today, you can go onto our website and you can download, and it's just A4 and you can print it. Or of course you can use any images that you have already, but they're just on hospital-rooms.com and you can download.
I'm just going to check for other pieces that might not be stuck down just yet. I think I'm fairly happy with how this is looking.
We've just had a comment in, Cara, saying the work has a Matisse-like quality. Beautiful.
Yeah, Matisse, was really famous for his cutouts, and I often look to them as well for inspiration. He used to say his cutouts were like painting with scissors, which I liked. So I guess you could say we were painting with our hands today as opposed to scissors. Seems to be a bit noisy outside my studio today. I hope everyone can hear that.
Where are you joining us from, Cara? Tell everyone.
So my studio is in East London. I've been here for nearly a year now. Yeah, I really like working here. It's got a lot of light, which is good for a painter. But yeah, surrounding my studio, there are lots of other workshops. So it's a lot of clanging happening right now.
Hello to Ellie, who's joining us, a unit's joining us from Lewisham. It's great to have you with us.
Now the difficult thing is knowing when to stop, because you can get really carried away because it's quite fun.
I was going to ask, when is it finished? When do you normally hit that point?
Yes, it looks like it could be any minute now. I don't have a hard and fast rule for knowing when things are finished. It's sort of, I don't know, use your intuition, I think, sort of know when it's done. I think this might be it.
You often go back to things maybe after a...
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, even using pieces that, the negative pieces, I guess, that were cut out, you know, they could also, I don't know, you could be playful with them, just use them in other other works. They don't have to stay, you know, as they don't have to be discarded. They can easily be included in the image. I mean, even something like that could also could just go on forever, really. Yeah.
Well, I'll just share the last few comments that are coming through. So Sarah said, "This is fabulous. I love the way the layering is achieved. I've never attempted to make a collage. Now I'm inspired to try this memory landscape about my grandma's house near the seashore." Thank you so much. It's great to hear. Everyone joining us from, we've got Tracy Kennedy in Exeter. It's her 50th birthday and she's doing this and having a best time. So that's really lovely to hear. And we've got Johnson PQ in London having a great time. So just a massive thank you, Cara. It looks amazing and very inspiring for all of us to have a go. Just amazing. Is there anything you wanted to say, Louis?
No, yeah, just it's been really enjoyable, and thank you to everyone who's sort of talked along and let us know about what you're doing, and thank you to Cara. It's a really beautiful final collage.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun making it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everyone else has come up with.
Perfect. So I'm just going to launch a very quick poll, and it's just for everyone who's joining us, just to give us a quick idea of how you've found today's workshop. So I've just popped that up. It should be coming up on your screen. If you could just give us an idea of how you found today, that would be really, really helpful. So I'll just, everyone's answering. Thank you so much. I'll just give that another 5 seconds or so. Amazing. Oh, it's such lovely feedback. Thanks, everyone. It's really nice to know. Perfect. I'm going to end that poll now. And Louis, would you mind changing the screen for us a second? Great. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. That's just been a really fun 45 minutes and it's flown by. If you're still here, I thought I'd just share just a little bit about hospital rooms and how this workshop today has come about. So we are a London-based mental health and arts charity, and we transform inpatient mental health units with contemporary art. So we're really thrilled that a lot of the units that we've worked with or hope to work with have joined us for these sessions today. And we actually started this in response to COVID, because normally we would go into units and we lead workshops and we create these incredible immersive artworks, and that was put on pause when lockdown came in. So we decided to launch this art school to bring everyone together and open it up to everyone. And the images you can see here are from some of the units that we've worked with. So we work with fantastic leading contemporary artists from Anish Kapoor and Julian Opie and people like Cara. And then we go in there and we completely transform these spaces. So that's Harold Offey, who worked with us at Croydon PQ, which is a psychiatric intensive care unit in London. So it's really important for us to get everyone involved, and the workshops are always such an amazing part of our projects, which is why we were so excited to be able to transform them into this digital space and create a community where we could all get creative together through what is really a difficult time. So there's more to find out about hospital rooms. We are on YouTube, and all of the digital art school sessions are available to watch. So you can either watch the live Zoom recordings or you can watch some shorter tutorials. And there's a whole range of workshops there, from collage to painting to sculpture. So I really encourage you to have a look and see if anything takes your fancy. We upload a new video every week, so you can subscribe to be notified immediately. We also have a mailing list, which shares details of our digital art school every week. So every Monday, if you sign up, you'll get details of the upcoming workshop, the materials you need, any downloads, and a link to last week's video. And you can sign up for that at www.hospital-rooms.com. And you can also share your artworks with us on our online gallery. So if you've made a collage today, or you're going to in the days coming up, if you go on our website, which is hospital-rooms.com, please upload your artworks. You can do it anonymously, or you can give your name and we will share them. And we love seeing the work, and our artists love seeing the work, and it's great to kind of see what everyone's making together, even though we're so far apart at the moment. And thank you. Yeah, thank you again for joining us. Huge thanks to Anthropologie for sharing this workshop today. It's been amazing to see so many new people join us, and I really hope that you'll join us again next week. We're doing a squid ink printing workshop with Stephen Claydon, who worked with us on a project at Greenfields, and I know Greenfields joined us today, so that's going to be really, really fun. And again, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter. So we really look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you again to Anthropologie, and for anyone who's donated to be here today. Thank you again, Cara, for leading such a fun workshop. It was just really, really relaxing. And we'll see everyone next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.